Hello. So today I am going to do something a little different. I received a package from Jackson's Art Supply, and they're based out of England. And there's a few things that I order from there that I can't get in the United States. Not sure how the tariffs are going to work going forward with that, but I was really excited to receive a few things today. So I'm going to quickly show you it's a simple unboxing, and then I'm going to actually do swatches of some of my favorite colors from my Michael Harding watercolor collection, and a couple of my favorite colors from Daniel Smith. Really just a very brief few from Daniel Smith. I do love so many brands and a lot of individual colors from the different brands, but I don't see a lot about Michael Harding's watercolors, and they're actually quite special, I believe, because the high pigment load and the quality, and actually you just don't have to use as much paint when you have that. You just dilute it more if you want more muted colors. So I'm going to start. I ordered couple of pencils to add to my colored pencil collection. I just am starting now, recently using more colored pencil like in my sketchbooks, and enhancing some of my watercolor art at the very end. Not much yet. This is Foliage, Mars Black, and Pine. And I'm going to I think I have a section in my notebook here where I have swatched a few of my pencils, and I think I'll just add to that. I just have to find it and go from there. Yep, here we are. So these are Derwent Light Fast. So I'm going to write in here Derwent. And make sure I spell that right. Yeah. Light Fast pencils. And let's start with this color, Mars Black. It's basically just black. These are actually lovely pencils. They're creamy, and if you're going to use them in your artwork, it's really important, if you plan to sell your artwork at any point, that they be light fast. So this is black. This one is Foliage. Let's see. I never can have enough greens, different shades of green. Greens are something I use a lot of in my artwork. And I love green. I love green countries. I tend to prefer green landscapes to desert landscapes. Desert landscapes are very interesting to paint, though. I love the red rocks and all of that. But as far as like being in and around, that's a really pretty color. So this is Foliage by Derwent. And the last one I'm going to do is Pine. Then I'm going to do something to see. I have something called a blender. I have other blenders that I can't find that I kind of prefer, like that you can use on pastels. Try using them on colored pencils. Let's get that blender and see how that works. Kind of mutes it. I'm going to do this, and we'll go into this one. Yeah, it lightens the color. That's interesting. It calls it a blender. It's almost like a partial eraser. And I think if I went lighter and have more control, I could get like more of a medium tone. Okay, and then let's do the black. The black has like almost a reddish undertone when you rub it in like this. So these are, okay, let me put this one in. It was pine. Okay, so that is that for the colored pencils I received today. And then I was so excited because you cannot get these really. I haven't found them. It's called the Pith Oro Blanco, these Pith notebooks, sketchbooks. This is, the paper's thick and smooth. It just feels so good. I just really like these. And I was thinking, well, I can't get them here. I'm going to go on Jackson's. And that's kind of what prompted this small order of mine. And it is called, it is a Pith Oro Blanco sketchbook. So this is going to be really good because it's smooth paper, because as I'm getting more and more into doing pen and ink and work with pencils and more mixed media, this works really well. When I use my cold press paper with pen, it doesn't glide on as easily. And I really don't want to draw on here yet because I don't know what I'm going to do yet. But at some point I will do a piece of artwork on camera with this sketchbook. All right, so there's that. And now I just have a little piece of paper here, and I'm going to share, I actually have more stuff to open. Here's my little box with my small little order. Oh, I forgot I ordered a couple extra of the, now Roman Schmal is a watercolor brand that is high quality, and it comes out of Poland, and there's an awful lot of colors. And one day I will swatch what I have from Roman Schmal, and I've been getting more. This one I do have to get from Jackson's because they don't sell this in the United States, and they're very nice, and they have a lot of granulating colors and some very unique colors. So this color is called Cherry Quinacridone. And this one is, what color are you? Oh, China White. I wanted something that's, I guess it's the equivalent of like a zinc white. And I don't use white very often, but I noticed Kateri Ewing using them between transitions, like in skies and landscapes with the paint, and I just loved it. I mean, it was really nice effect. So I think I'm going to be using that more often. So I think I might even show you on another piece of paper if this doesn't go too long. This color is Chromium Green Oxide Dark. So this color stood out on the, we'll see what it looks like in person when I swatch that one. I might not swatch these today. I might swatch those when I do the Roman Schmal. Not sure yet. This one is a Daniel Smith color, Cobalt Green Deep. And this one is Raw Sienna Dark. So it was funny because I didn't have any raw siennas, and so I decided Michael Harding is very true to color. So I trusted him to get a good raw sienna. I did order one from Winsor Newton in a pan, but I decided to get the Michael Harding also. And then this one is Viridian. So I didn't have Viridian at all. It's so funny with all of the colors that I have. I didn't have any Viridians, and I hear they're really, really good with mixes. When I was learning oil painting, most classical art teachers will have you add Viridian to your basic palette. It was just never a color that I particularly was drawn to, so I just didn't have it. So let me see. I think I'm going to start by doing some of my Michael Harding paints that are like my favorites. And there is a color called Warm White. No, not Warm White. They have Warm White, but they also, and I don't see any purpose in swatching white. You're not going to see it, so it just doesn't make sense. And I think the warm white actually can work as a zinc white or China white. But, yep. So here is warm yellow. And this is so weird that I'm going to do it like this. I'm just going to dip into the tube and swatch this way. This is very opaque, and it's creamy and buttery, and it is really lovely. This is a really nice color. I bet it would be very nice in mixes. And let's see if I can get, I'm going to end up having to use a lot more papers because I'm making this so big. Oh well. Boy, I have to use a lot of water to get this going. Well, it's not going to granulate, but I was trying to get a really, you see what I mean? Like Michael Harding paints are, I just dipped my brush in, and there's so much pigment that just to try and get the watered down method, I'm having to really go out there. Okay, so this is warm yellow. And I will write that down. And the next color I'm going to swatch today is the raw sienna I got from Michael Harding. Let's see, let's get a little bit in my brush here. And I will do it over here. This is really, I don't know, I never had been into raw sienna until recently, and I just really like it. It's so useful. It's so great in any kind of landscape, in trees and fields. It's just really, it's a very pretty color. And actually when you do a lot of birds are kind of these kind of brownish colors, and not every bird is a bright color. And there's a lot of beauty in the browns, and these earth tones are just beautiful. So this is a beautiful raw sienna. Let me just dip a little bit of water on that. There we go. And I'm going to write in, I should put MH for Michael Harding, because I am doing a few brands today. So this is Michael Harding, raw sienna. Oh wow, very interesting. My pen touched the water and the paint, and it just went poof, poof. Okay, here is, now this has been very nicely used. It's Belladonna. It is another Michael Harding color that is super special. This is one of his signature colors. I'll clean out my brush really well and do a little bit of dab in there. And it is rich, it's gorgeous, it's really beautiful. I'm not going to go out as far, so I can fit maybe 3 on this one row. Dip. Okay. This one is Michael Harding's Belladonna. Oops. You can get Michael Harding paints in the U.S. Through Blick. I don't know if any of the other, like Cheap Joe's or what's the other one? Jerry's Artorama online. I don't know if they carry it or not. I think you can get it on Amazon. But I think it's more expensive. You know, Amazon, they have the free delivery. So sometimes the fact that they price the paints higher. If you can get free shipping at Blick or Jerry's Artorama or Cheap Joe's or one of those places, I would suggest you get it there because I think it is more expensive on Amazon. And we don't really want to give Amazon all our business because they're killing small business. Okay, so here is quinacridone gold, another Michael Harding paint. Now, I don't know, I'd heard that they stopped making quinacridone gold, and they just have like the hues or different colors that kind of took its place for some reason. But this is just quinacridone gold. It is actually quinacridone gold. And I think it's still available on Michael Harding, because I didn't get this too long ago, because I just discovered Michael Harding last year. And not him. I've been using most of my oil paints are between. I think I use different brands because I like different colors. But I use a lot of Michael Harding oil paints. They're beautiful. They're wonderful to work with. Wow, this is really a special color. So this quinacridone gold. And right on here, MH, Quin Gold, and this one is MH, Belladonna. Had to double check, it's a double L, double N, Belladonna, okay. And actually those two colors together, striking. These very striking colors. Yep. I'll put that brush back. All right. I think the next color I'm going to do is, I'm curious to see what this cobalt green deep is like. Whoa. What was that? That was like a little hard piece of paint that must have leaked out. He wants to escape. Okay, stand up. Don't do that to me. All right. And, oh, that's so pretty. This almost reminds me of some of the forest greens have this kind of a look to them. It's a blue-green. It's really pretty. Let's see how light it could go. Yeah, you can mute it down very nicely. This is actually really a beautiful color. I don't know what those dots are, but okay. So this is Cobalt Green Deep by Michael Harding. Oh no, it's not Michael Harding. I lied. Excuse me. It's Daniel Smith. Yeah, this is Daniel Smith. I'm trying to figure out what this stuff is here. These little dots. I'm not going to touch it. Okay, so the next color from Michael Harding I'm going to show you is a color called Moonlight. This is Michael Harding. I'll write later. It doesn't. Again, another color I have used. I haven't used this much. I've filled some pans to create some palettes to make it handy. Oh, this is beautiful. So this is similar to, what is that color Daniel Smith has? It's, oh my God. Anyway, I'll remember it later. Anyway, this is really very, very, very pretty for a night sky. And this granulates the color separation, I believe. Yep. Moonlight. Michael Harding. Moonlight. Okay, the next Michael Harding color that I am going to show you. See, he does a beautiful indigo, so I'm going to do his indigo. I have so many of his colors, like, I'm a paint collector. It's an obsession. Can't help myself. When I like something, I want to have it. I really, this is pretty much at this point in my life, I spend my money on art supplies. It's just my favorite thing to spend money on. That and books. I love books and art supplies. I don't buy clothes, fancy cars, any of that stuff. This is always my big splurge is art supplies and books. And that's not bad. Those are not bad habits. Oh my goodness, this is so dark. Okay, let me try and get it lighter so you can see the undertones, which are absolutely gorgeous. So when you're painting with Michael Harding, you don't need a lot of paint. You just really don't. One other thing, they're honey-based paints, and some of the colors actually never fully dry. Like if you put them in a pan, I mean, you might have to I think there's a way to do it, like if you put it in the fridge or something for a while, for I don't know how long. It might not be so runny, but I found some of the colors, I think it was like a particular yellow, like Turner yellow that I have of his. It just never wanted to dry, and it kept I would set it out open by a window, then I would think, oh, this is going to be okay, and I would try to take it with me somewhere, and it would run everywhere. So just beware. I think keep them in, maybe put it in the fridge after you set the pan for maybe a day, and then that should set it pretty well. That's what I've been told. If I'm wrong, please make a comment down below and tell me what your thoughts are on how you would set the paint. But I've heard that works. Okay, so this is Michael Harding Indigo. And I think he came out with these maybe 2-3 years ago. So they're not quite out. Like if I go to Blick, because Blick actually is located, we have Blick stores here in San Francisco. We have 2. And they don't, I haven't seen them in the stores, but I've ordered them through Blick online. All right, let's see what I'm going to do next. Let's do a Potter's Pink, Michael Harding Potter's Pink. Let's see what that's like. is pretty. It's kind of a mauve-y color. And there is granulation. Let me put some water down here. So actually, I think this is really, I have Potter's Pink from, I think, Daniel Smith, and I don't know if I have Winsor Newton's or not. I don't remember. But this is really great. I also have it with Deep Deep Light, and I should do I'm going to do a comparison someday of some of these colors. People seem to like that. Then they can decide which brand that they would want to invest in. Because, you want to... This is weird. This Daniel Smith, it made some drops. And I don't know if that was me dropping the paint on there, but it's dropped some splotches on my swatch there. Potter's Pink, and this is Michael Harding's version, which is absolutely beautiful. I think this is like my favorite. I don't know. I think so. I do think so. I'm tempted to try the Potter's Pink from Deep Deep Light next to it. If I can find it handy. Nope, never mind. All right. Next color I am going to show you is Perylene Green. This is a Michael Harding Perylene Green. It is so beautiful. And I can't wait to show it to you. And it works great for shadows and foliage, and it's just so pretty. Oh my God. So if you look, it's inky, but then when you see the undertone, it's like this beautiful green. It's like almost an emerald green underneath it. I don't know. It's just so beautiful. I wish you could see what I can see. I don't know. When I play this back, I might see what you guys are seeing. Too much water. I'm going to dab that. Okay. Yeah, I this is sublime. I mean, this color, really. Michael Harding, Perylene Green. Now, I have had Perylene Green on my palette for years when I was using Winsor Newton primarily. I studied watercolor. It was one of my first mediums when I started seriously painting and studying at the Art Students League of Denver. And the first classes I took there were with a very amazing watercolorist and artist called Dennis Pendleton. And he has a YouTube channel now. And he also has an Instagram, I believe. And he's fabulous. I think he's pretty well known in the art world. But he introduced me to watercolor, and most of the colors that still to this day I have on most of my palettes, like Rose Durée and Perylene Green, are Winsor Newton colors that he introduced to me. So there. But this one is Michael Harding, and I love it. So let's see, what is another color I can use? Another Michael Harding color that I think is so pretty. I didn't pull it out. Well, I'll do this one instead. Earth of Cyprus. This is a lovely brown. Let me open it. Again, if you're doing landscapes, buildings, there's just, brown is just, the browns and the earth tones are just so important in my work. Yeah, this is lovely. This is called Earth of Cyprus. Again, it's another Michael Harding paint. And here we go. It's rich. Blowing my paint. Yeah, I don't use a hairdryer for my drawing. I use a lot of patience. Usually like listen to music, a lot of audiobooks. I did do a video just the other night while I was playing my audiobook, and I wasn't sure if I should post that on YouTube because the audiobook kind of runs throughout that whole video. I think I will. You know, if people like it, fine. If they don't, they can turn the volume down and just watch because basically I think that one I was painting a blue heron. Yeah, that was painting a blue heron. I think it was with was it with my essay colors? I believe so. Here we go. We are going to do burnt sienna. Next to that, Michael Harding has a lovely version of burnt sienna, and I will show it to you. Wow, that's so pretty. That's so pretty. I don't know if you can see through the camera. These colors are so rich. They're so lovely and multi-dimensional. I don't skimp on my watercolor paints or my brushes. I think that the quality matters, especially with watercolor, because of the depth and the translucence and the granulation and the way that the colors can come alive if you have a really good paint. It doesn't just lay flat. You know, there's a lot of nice things about gouache. Gouache is really a great medium. It's just not a medium I'm excited about using. I know I could actually create effects much easier using gouache because it kind of works like oil paint. You can paint over it, or acrylic. If you make a mistake, you can fix it really easily. Watercolor, not as easy to do that. Because you have to go light to dark. Once it's dark, you can't really do much unless you want to go over it with an opaque gouache or something. You can lift some, but not a lot. Okay, let's see, because then you start messing the paper up and it doesn't look that good. It looks overworked. So watercolor in many ways is just a kind of finicky medium. It's easy and yet can be challenging also. But it's just something I love. I just love watercolors. The colors, I love paint in general, and I love oil paints and oil painting, but the colors in watercolor just really go the next level for me. What did I say? This is Michael Harding, and it's Michael Harding, okay. Burnt sienna. And that's this one. I think I'm going to let this go to the side and dry. I need to grab another piece of paper. I'll use this little block here. To the side. Okay. Now I'm going to swatch some of my Daniel Smith colors. And I do have 3 more Michael Harding ones I can show you that are handy. So this one is Piedmontite Genuine. And I just discovered it. I don't know who's had it, probably Natasha or somebody on YouTube kind of introduced this color to me. And it's really nice. I think it was it Lily Moon? They all run together a little bit. I mean, they're different, but when I watch a lot of swatching videos, sometimes I don't remember who introduced me to what. And yep, this one's gonna have color separation. It's really, really a nice color. And I don't do the pigments, but and especially now because I don't have my reading glasses, so I can't read this. So let me write this. Daniel Smith, Piedmontite. Genuine. Well, yeah, it's really nice. Okay, I think this red that I'm about to swatch is like my favorite red, by far. And I've tried many reds. I don't use a lot of red all the time, but when I like this red so much that I try to find excuses to use it. So let me open it. It is Daniel Smith's Deep Scarlet. And man, I love it. It is so deep, so rich. And so beautiful. Okay. And you can dilute it down to a rosy color, and it can get really dark and deep and rich as well. So for me, this is my favorite red. I really, right now, this is my favorite red. And I like other reds too, but this one, I just think it's gorgeous. So there's that. Daniel Smith. Deep Scarlet. And wow, this is drawing, this Piedmontite, there's all these other colors that are kind of like showing through. Now I've had this one a long time. It's called Bloodstone Genuine by Daniel Smith. Absolutely beautiful. I just really love this. Very granulating, very special, dark color. And it, so if you, what is that? There's a style that is kind of gothic, you know, Victorian kind of look to the background of your paintings. If you add this, it just has that feel. Now it looks black here, but it's not black. So it's almost like a deep, rich, purpley thing. see, I think, when it dries. Some of the magic. Sometimes with these, if I don't paint a big enough swatch, you're not going to see all of the effects that it can give you. Okay. This is Bloodstone by Daniel Smith. Oop. Just dropped my lid. Okay, now the last of the Daniel Smith colors I'm going to swatch today is called Minnesota Pipestone Genuine. Now this one I know for a fact was introduced by Natasha, because she I think it was one year it was part of her favorites, or she had swatched it, and I thought it was lovely, so I had to have it, of course. Yep. I am not sponsored by anybody, obviously. I mean, I just started this channel, but I will show you the things that I really like, and I will be honest. If I don't like something, I'm going to say something. So, I don't know. This color, I don't know why. I used to like it more. This one's not doing anything for me right now. Let me see what it does when it dries. Put some more water down. Yeah, it's, I don't know. We'll see what it looks like when it dries. I have used it. I've put it in some of my little palettes. Yeah, I fill them up like, you know, everybody does. Let's see, here's one. And I just, this is a Bowerbird palette. And this one has, I think, most of these are A Gallo colors with a few Roman small ones, I think. I haven't used it yet. I just kind of put it together recently. Just trying to organize my palettes and my paints. And it's going to change over time, of course. This is not that. This is Winsor Newton Cobalt Turquoise Light. This is Adanthrone, I think. And that one is from the, A Gallo. They came out with tubes. So I used that there. And then I don't know what this one is right off the bat. Let me see. Oh, that one's a Daniel Smith. And I'm not sure. It's probably Minnesota Pipestone or something. Maybe. Okay. Anyway, so. Whoops. No, that's not Minnesota. That was Piedmontite. But this one's Minnesota Pipestone. Daniel Smith. Yeah, it's nice. It's nice. Okay. All right. I think I'm going to do another Michael Harding. And this one's Adanthrone Blue. Ooh, midnighty. Ooh. I put too much paint on my brush. It's a gorgeous blue, so rich. But I put too much paint on my brush. So I'm going to have to pull this all the way out. If it's quite diluted, it can make a nice, you can use it for the sky. It's very pretty. Let me drop some water into here. Nice. Ooh la la. Okay. And okay, let me do the forest green from Michael Harding. This is another favorite of mine. As you can see, I've put it in almost all of my like mixed palettes or my Michael Harding palettes that I have. That's why I haven't used all this paint, but I put them in palettes because that's how you usually paint, is I paint out of a palette. I think you use less paint if you do it that way. And whenever I just work from the tube and you know, mixing in here, I tend to use a lot more than I need to, I think. Or a lot of it can go to waste. But there's many schools of thought about that. I do like working. I mean, it's fine. Like I could put it in here and then it'll go. But then there you go. It's diluted. You have more control if you're doing mixing. So if I'm mixing, yes, I would put it inside one of these guys. Okay. But then of course I'm going to use a lot more paint. And this is Forest Green by Michael Harding, and it's very nice green, very useful. I think it all depends on what you like to paint. And I like to paint a lot of different things, but I do like painting landscapes. All right, so this is for Michael Harding, Forest Green. And my last color for today is going to be Olive Green by Michael Harding. Let me just write that down. I really put too much paint on my brush when I did okay. And down thrown blue, where are you? So I can make sure I spell you correctly. Oh Lord. Where did it go? Oh. Okay. Olive green. I'm going to take a crack at it. Michael Harding. And then thrown, I think that's right, blue. And I hope everyone's having a good week so far. It just started for, it's just Monday night. Okay, so this is so pretty. This color is so good. Oh my God, this color is perfect. I find I love playing with my colors, and I think swatching colors really important when you first get them, so you know what you have, and you can really see what they're like, and before you start painting. Okay, this Michael Harding olive green, and I'm going to let these dry. I'm going to put these back in the tub. Oh, so this is going to go to the side here. These are dry. I think you can see. Warm yellow, raw sienna, belladonna, quin gold, Daniel Smith green, cobalt green deep, moonlight, indigo, potter's pink, perylene green, earth of cypress, and burnt sienna. And MH is for Michael Harding, DS for Daniel Smith, and those, yeah, I didn't do any other brands except those two today. So that's this one. This last one has not dried yet, and I might come back and take a final shot of the dried paint on this sheet. But otherwise, I just want to tell everybody thanks for joining me. I have very high hopes for seeing everybody's paintings. I don't know, I'm not sure if you're able to upload them in comments or not. I am on Instagram, so you can message me on Instagram if you want to send me your artwork or comments. My Instagram is Daphne Berry Fine Art. So that is all for tonight. Thank you so much.